Today, I'm going to demonstrate how to perform RFC 7591 or the dynamic client registration on Radium's mock bank. To do this, I'm going to use a Postman, which is an API development tool. It does not have to use Postman. You can use your own development environment or even a simple Pcr request. The first thing I want to do is add the certificate that I created in the previous video, which is the transport certificate, the VRCAC, which is here, and then point to that location for MTLS auth mockbank POC radium.io. First, the next thing is I want to grab a valid SSA certificate. There are a few ways we can do this. You can either do an API call like I'm doing here, or alternatively, you can go to the UI and also grab the software statement assertion on your software statement. In order for me to do this API call, I need to add a few variables: the organization ID and the software statement ID. These can be found from the URL in your browser. The next part I need to do is, in order to get a valid access token, I need to have a valid transport certificate, which I did in the first step, and also have the client ID, which can be found on your software statement, which is here, as well as the /token endpoint, the scope that I want to use, which for my example, I'm using directory software, and the client credentials grant. When I hit send, I'm getting an access token, and then it's returning me an SSA. Now let's move on to the Pcr request. That SSA, as you can see at the bottom, is under software statement, and it's been added as a variable inside of Postman. A few parts here that we need to grab from the directory itself. Firstly, we're going to go to the client name, which is from the software statement. As you can see, client name here, Radium Dev Demo, and that can be found Radium Dev Demo. The JWKS URI is made up of the key store, sandbox directory, open Brazil org, the organization ID, which again can be found from your browser, the software statement ID, which again can be found from your browser, /application.jwks. The next part is the redirect URIs. It's important that these redirect URIs are on the software statement found here. Otherwise, the request will fail when the DCR does a lookup of the SSA. You do not have to use two redirect URIs. You can use one. For my example, I'm using two. So requirements use par, so I have that set to true, and the algorithm is PS256. The TLS client or subject DN is made up of the same values which I created for the VRCAC. The UID is the software statement ID. The O is the organization name. The OU is the organization unit, which is the organization ID. The CN of radium.com, which is what I used to create the VRCAC, and the private organization and the country. When I hit send, I'm sending it, doing a post request to mtlsauth.mockbank.poc.radium.io. When I hit send, DCR service will validate my request and return back a client from the mock bank. As you can see, all of the information I inputted here, the redirect URIs, the TLS client auth, the organization ID, the organization name, organization number, registration URL, and that is how you create a valid client on Radium's mock bank. Thank you.